you weigh? There's a story out there, not like printed, but a story developing that I think is worth watching because there's no end game to it yet. There's no finality of like it's over, because I find the Jim Harbaugh situation really intriguing at Michigan, because we know he's back on the sideline. The suspension was served. He's in the college football player for the third consecutive year. He's got an extension that's out there, allegedly, that the university was working on. It hasn't been signed because of a report that says he needs to sign something that says he won't flirt with the NFL anymore. Paul, the timing of this is going to be really, really intriguing come playoff Jan 1, and when the NFL executes their day after the season firings, and how much he's going to be involved in that.
Well, think about this, Matt. How many times has some average coach got an extension and the reason is for recruiting? Well, we're sitting here on Thursday, 6 days before the national signing day. Wouldn't that be the time where you would do all the bells and whistles and say, we've just signed Jim Harbaugh? And that's not happening because he clearly, and his people clearly don't like what they're seeing. And I don't I'm not an NFL insider. You talk to enough of them every week, but his name is pretty prominent for a couple of jobs, and he's hot. Jim Harbaugh is a hot name. I don't know where Belichick lands in all this. Somebody will probably take a flyer on him, but those are the names. I'm not talking about the cookie cutter Eagles coordinator that gets to a Super Bowl and you don't even know who they are, but they're getting jobs somewhere. That's the way but every once in a while you get an NFL owner who says, you know what, I don't want that guy. I want the big fish, and there are a couple of those guys out there. And Harbaugh, I live in Carolina. Sadly, I'm subjected to the Carolina Panthers every week, and you literally couldn't pay anyone to go to a game right now. Bryce Young, I hate to say this because I really admire him and like him very much, but he's almost a punchline in this community where you bring Jim Harbaugh in, and that would excite people. They would go, whoa, okay. And getting to the playoff helps Harbaugh. So I think he's, in spite of everything that everyone has said, and I've been nipping at that trough as well, Jim Harbaugh is a very hot name in the NFL. And I can't believe Harbaugh will ever be hotter. And for a guy that clearly has wanted to go back to the NFL twice now, we've seen this every year, I can't imagine why he wouldn't, as opposed to staying at a place that's putting a bunch of clauses in a contract that he frankly probably doesn't want any part of.
He's beat Ohio State 3 years in a row. He took San Francisco to a Super Bowl in his time there. And I think that's the difference with Harbaugh. I think the days of the Urban Meyers and like a Dabo Sweeney or someone making the leap, those are pretty damaged in that we've seen it not work more times we've seen it work. Now, Pete Carroll's different because Pete Carroll started in the NFL, came to college at USC, went back to the NFL, had success, won a Super Bowl. Jim Harbaugh, same thing. Started in college, succeeded in the NFL famously, and then came back to college to where he's kind of one of those guys that until he says I'm done in the NFL, if you're an NFL owner, you're always going to go kick those tires. He was a legend in Chicago. That job's probably going to come open. Jim Harbaugh with the Chicago. He's just a guy that's always going to come up.
And that, obviously we love college football. That's why we're sitting here talking about it. But college football is headed toward an iceberg. We all know that. We hear it from the leaders, and he doesn't look like the kind of guy that really wants to be dealing with this. He's said some pretty creative things, and I think he's genuine when he talks about believing in the player. He's not like a lot of these guys that are they mouth that, and then they're trying to protect their fiefdom. So I think with his brother already very successful, I could see him just saying, people say, well, it depends on whether he wins or not. I don't really think that's a big deal. Michigan getting to the CFP is a big deal, win or lose, and they're a slight favorite to win it all. He's already beaten the house.
Give me something I can feel. Light a cigarette.